his number 28 jersey at practice. It looked weird. Iloka said he's not planning on wearing Peterson's number and, quote, I just think that was the only number available, so they just threw me in it. I'm so glad we have Eric Dickerson here with us.
That was the only number available.
Only number.
Only number available.
Is it disrespectful?
The Rams should throw somebody into that 29 someday, right?
You need to tell them I wish they might.
Come on. I'm sorry.
No, is it disrespectful in your opinion, Eric?
You know what? I would say yes and no because, look, football goes on, with or without you. But a player like Adrian Peterson, to me, would be a first ballot Hall of Famer for the Minnesota Vikings. No matter how it ended, he's the guy. When you look at 28, you'll always think of Adrian Peterson wearing number 28, not George, whatever his name. Nothing against him, but nothing against him. I can tell you, matter of fact, I think in 1993, they put a guy in my jersey by the name of Dexter Davis.
Ooh.
And he was a defensive back, yeah. I think he made a Pro Bowl, but, I think I was still playing.
Yeah.
And it was odd, but my friend Todd Light told me a story. He said, Eric, I got a story to tell you. He said, in 1991, when I got drafted to the Rams, he said, Mr. Hewitt came to me with number, the numbers threw him away. So he gave me number 29. I looked at it, I said, I can't wear this number. He said, why? He said, it's Eric Dickerson's number. He said, but Eric Dickerson don't. He said, I'm not wearing this number, so I can't wear this number. So
really?
That's how he became number 41.
And Todd Light was a good player.
Todd Light was a good player. Yeah. So it's just certain numbers that you don't wear. Like I look at Ricky Jackson. I'm gonna take Ricky Jackson, my friend, if I'm the Saints. Now, Ricky's the only Hall of Famer for the New Orleans Saints. They have never retired his number. Matter of fact, they have a guy wearing his number now. I think it's Okafor, and he got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals, and he's wearing his number. I think that is really disrespectful. This is your only Hall of Fame guy, and you're having somewhere wear his number. So most definitely, I don't feel like anyone should ever wear Adrian Peterson's number. I mean, he's iconic. He's number 20, and I think, like I said, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he retires from football.
Yeah, it's the preseason. Who cares? Give him 50. Give him 52. Skip, you're the preseason. When I played the preseason, they gave me number 1. I thought it was cool, Skip, because in high school I was 3, in college I was 2. I was like, oh, I'm number 1 in the NFL. It didn't dawn on me that they give guys that they're going to cut, they give them bullshit numbers. It didn't dawn on me till later. I'm like, whoa. So y'all basically said, y'all can take this number back, get me up out of here. George, take any number.
Okay, just for the record, George Iloka has been a 6-year starter for the Bengals. He's I'm not going to say he's just a good player. He's a good player.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, he's a good player.
All right.
But Adrian Peterson, you're going to make a case. Okay, who's the best all-time Viking? Adrian Peterson, Randy Moss, Alan Page, Fran Tarkenton, Chris Carter, Randy Moss. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. George Iloka ain't going to ever be thought of as a Minnesota Viking or an all-time great Minnesota Viking. But I get it, Skip. For me, if I'm George Iloka, like 28, I ain't finna with that.
I think he figured that out after a while, right?
After the fans, they show him he got 28 on in practice.
Huh?
They're like, that ain't me. That ain't me. No,
what?
no. You try to stay away from that. You go to a team, think about it, Skip. You go to New England. You think I'm going to let them they're going to put somebody in 12?
What?
What? I don't want 87 either. If I'm a tight end, y'all, 87, you better get that number away from me.
There have been a bunch of 84s in Denver, though, haven't there?
Yeah, they have. You know what?
Well, that's a good point. Ooh.
You know what?
They retire your number.
I need to talk to Joe Ellis about that.
You should.
They be putting that some of everybody, dude dropping the ball, making it look bad.
All right, before I go, Jenny Taft, as a longtime Vikings fan, were you offended by this?
Yes, it looked weird. I had so many friends actually say, can you please get Skip and Shannon to weigh in on this? This is not right. AP, it's just, there are too many memories and they shouldn't be taken away.
Okay. Were those same fans down on Adrian in 2014 when he got suspended for almost the whole season for, as you know, he pleaded no contest to misdemeanor reckless assault when he hit his 4-year-old kid. We can go into whether you can love it or not love it or whatever, you can agree or disagree. But I think there were those in Minneapolis and the surrounding areas who did not love what Adrian did.
Yeah,
sure.
Right?
Of course. All over. That wasn't just Minneapolis.
Sure. Okay. So it felt like from a distance, it did not end that well for Adrian in Minnesota because he had an option for one more year at $18 million and he was not living up to that contract at that point. So the Vikings said, thanks, but no thanks. And he said, I want to go explore. They said, you can go explore. You can shop yourself on the market and see what you can get. And obviously, as great backs often do, they all do, as you well know, he overestimated his market value at this stage of his career.
Correct.
And he wound up taking, I think it was a grand total of $3.5 million to play for Minnesota. For New Orleans last year. And now he's playing for $1.05 million to try to make the roster of the Washington Redskins. So he overestimated what he had left. And we had Chris Carter on the show, obviously, all through last year saying he should have just said, I'll take whatever you'll give me to finish here in Minnesota, right?
I believe they would have given him at least what New Orleans gave him.
Something
At the bare minimum, they give him
something like that. Could he have swallowed that much pride to take it? Because if he had, I don't think they would be handing out 28 to Ilokas, because if he was retiring as a Viking, maybe it'd be last year or maybe this year, maybe it'd be one last hurrah as almost the backup running back, then the sun would set correctly on Adrian in Minneapolis, like it would be a feel-good end to the story, like it should be for every great player. Obviously,
I agree. I agree with that. I mean, Joe Montana, he didn't retire.
No, he did not.
He didn't retire at 49.
Okay.
Still, no one wore 16.
No.
And you're right. I mean, I think
Well, you didn't retire.
and I didn't retire. I didn't retire with the Los Angeles Rams.
Jerry played with other teams.
Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith. You know, he went to Arizona. So, you know, it's just.
But it didn't seem to end badly for those guys wherever they were. It's that there was still a feel-goodness to it, like.
It kind of ended bad for
I said
Jerry.
it wasn't a feel. It was not a feel-good story with me when I left the Rams. I mean,
No.
that was not a feel. That was that was.
So you got traded in the middle of 88, right?
87.
87.
And did I? Oh, I was mad. I mean, because I really didn't want to leave, and it was all over $1 million, basically.
Okay.
I'm making $250. I wanted $1 million. I mean, and that one thing is, you know, when you're young, and A3 was, you know, younger still. When you're young, you look at things different. When you get older, you say, yeah, maybe I should have. Maybe it should have went this way. I mean, because you have more insight, you have more wisdom. But you're right.
Do you regret that you went to Indy?
You know what? I don't regret it. I don't regret because it changed the pay scale for running backs, the thing I did. You know, it really did, because backs were getting reamed. You know, we wasn't getting close to the money quarterbacks were getting. And I said, I wanted money like a quarterback, or close to it. And what I got quarterback money. And all of a sudden, the pay scale changed. And I didn't know this. A general manager told me, he said, Eric, you probably don't know this, but they have a rule called the Dickerson rule.
Wow.
That no one can make more than you at running back. I'm like, wow. So for a couple of years, no one can make. I had that rule in place.
Okay, but you earned it. You lived up to it.
I earned it. But, you know, Adrian Peterson, he earned it. He earned what he earned. But, you know, I think it comes a time where you look at your career, all of us do, and you think you're that same guy. You really do think you're that same. You can run but you aren't that same guy anymore. I mean, and it's hard to admit it, because I knew, I'm like, okay, I'm fast, but I'm not as fast as I used to be. I'm quick, but I'm not as quick as I used to be. And I'd admit it to myself. And it comes to a point where you say, I have to make a decision. You're right. It would have been a great decision if he would have stayed in Minnesota. I think the Vikings would have welcomed that.
Yeah, I just want to know why they keep giving out 84 in Denver. I need to talk to Joe Ella.
So I got you.
And I need to talk to John.